So for many years now, I've been involved in, I guess, what some people call the so-called truth community. And way back when I first started trying to uncover truths, there was no such thing. They didn't call it that. There was 9/11 truth that was around, but not this kind of coordinated, truth community or Christian truth community or truth community in general. I didn't see that. But anyway, I started a thing it's about 7 years ago. I started making videos on YouTube. It's been just over at this point. I'm a news junkie, and there's tons of different sites I go to and collect story ideas and whatnot. But as a side, like in different folders, and these to me are kind of the pieces of the puzzle for the videos I wind up making, the bigger videos. As time goes on, I remember all these stories. I go back and I kind of start putting it together. Of some of the most recent kind of weird news stories I've been tracking myself. I'll just read you some headlines. I like to do this from time to time. Wild stuff in here. And eventually a lot of it winds up in my videos. Smart people need more time alone, according to study. Chronic cannibal killer Matthew Williams growled, "There's no girl here," when landlady barged in to find him eating a fellow worker. I clicked the tab on accident. By the way, if you're not sure where you are, this is Catching Up with KJ, episode number 68, I believe. So welcome here. You may be wondering what the show is. It's a mix of things, I guess. Sometimes I'm not even sure what's going to happen, but I have a few guests a little later that are going to come on. We're going to chat for a bit first, but thanks for being here with Catching Up with KJ. I'm KJ Osborne with a Z. I'll be your humble host this evening, and I hope that you enjoy the show. Maybe you learn a thing or two. Maybe not. I don't know. But I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. So here's some more of those stories. Possessed villagers suffer agonizing fits and see demonic visions. Claim that they find a creepy voodoo doll in their camp. One more second, guys. Sorry, I just every time I do a show, there's some kind of weird technical stuff that starts popping up. Like I keep having these update things popping up on the computer, and it's just kind of getting in the way. Face staring out from her from Snapchat. I actually did a video on that one already. Possessed teenagers found babbling incoherently after being driven mad by, quote, satanic WhatsApp messages. Kobe Bryant uses a puppet to teach children how to use demons. Still scrolling down here. A little more. Oh, this is pretty crazy. A body of man swallowed whole by a monster 7-meter long python is cut from its stomach by horrified villagers. Videos I've seen in quite a while. That's a real story that happened. Well, I mean, it seems to have. I saw several different sources on that. And they have pictures, and they're not safe for work. Sound minds, probably. It's some pretty freaky stuff. But I thought it was interesting. What else we got here? Here's one I've been thinking about. It's about this wealthy Brazilian kid that disappeared, and they went to his house. When they went into his room, his entire room, it was basically void of furniture. It was all white walls with, I think, a white table in the middle. And it had occult symbols everywhere, along with some books on the occult. Maybe he had some Manly P. Hall. I'm not sure, but that's another one I thought was interesting. You probably saw the video of the Eye of Providence, the all-seeing eye that appeared over the sky in Russia, in Chelyabinsk. I don't know. I'm not very good with my Russian. I'll have to work on that, I guess. Let's see what else we got here. Cyborgs already at work. Employees getting implanted with microchips. Chinese engineer marries robot after failing to find a human wife. There's a weird story that came out about the singer Adele that she was caught shape-shifting into an 8-foot reptilian in New Zealand during a concert. We got to be careful. I mean, you know what? I mean, this world's crazy and I'm open to anything, but we got to be careful, even with sources sometimes. Like, there's a new thing going on right now. Have you guys heard about this Operation Gotham Shield? It's supposed to be happening this week. And then I saw that, I guess a few months ago, there was a random transmission on the radio. Somebody actually recorded it with their cell phone. It's on YouTube, saying Donald Trump, April 26th, Donald Trump, April 26th, kept saying that over and over again. And that was months ago they put that out. So you put that with this Gotham Shield, which is taking place apparently this week. It's supposed to be something to do with nuclear fallout over New Jersey and New York. And it's interesting. I mean, I looked into that myself, and I may be wrong, and if I am, please let me know. But one of the main sources I found on that was a website called Superstation 95. I think is the number 95. Now, I recognize that site because a few months ago I did a video called Astronaut Hoax Leads to Truth About Fallen Angels. I think that was the title. It's a few months back. It's on the channel. It had to do with Buzz Aldrin. Anyway, that website, Superstation, put out this story. It was the first one that put it out, that Buzz Aldrin took a picture of one of the pyramids down in the Antarctica and said, we are all in danger, something to do with evil. Real evil exists, real evil is here, something like, I can't remember now. But anyway, it turns out it was a Photoshop job. So that was a hoax. And it was perpetuated by this site, Superstation. So I wasn't sure what to think about this thing. It's happening now. I don't know. But I've seen other sources popping out that seem to be putting this information out. I'm not sure. But apparently there's a drill this week. And the concern is that throughout history, we've seen a lot of these drills taking place. I've done videos on this as well, really close to the actual events on the same day as the drill. So the drill is the mainstream narrative they can put out to the people, and meanwhile they're actually doing real things like false flag attacks. So some people are concerned that may happen. There's a lot of interesting things with nuclear bombs in New York City. A lot of people have had dreams and visions over the years. The money has been decoded. Jonathan Kleck's the only one I've seen decode that aspect of the money, showing a tsunami in New York. I've seen a lot of stories throughout the last couple of years about that, about the idea that maybe there's going to be a nuke going off in the ocean near New York, anywhere near New York, and causing a tsunami. It was decoded on the money. It's also been shown the Hoover Dam apparently may fall under attack as well. So it's interesting. You know, it's going to be a birthing ritual, I guess, for the real New World Order. It'll be the next 9/11. There's also St. John's Cathedral. You can look this up for yourself. I've put that in a lot of videos as well. Been there for a very long time in New York City. The pillars are prophetic. They show the birthing of the Antichrist. They show waves over New York City. Check that out as well. So there's a lot of things to consider here. You know, maybe, this week, will something happen? I'm not sure. I don't want to make a video on stuff like this anymore. I used to maybe a little more cover the possibilities like this, but time and time again, I've seen a lot of these things come and go and nothing happened. But who knows, man? I mean, this may be that time. I don't know. But we have to be careful of our sources, though, where we find our information, too. Know what I mean? This is going into a new video. I've been kind of tinkering with mainstream media reports that teenage boys are now going MGTOW, MGTOW. That means men going their own way. It even says teen boys are actually now joining men going their own way movement. And I'll get more into that. It's all about the falling away of love in our world and society and what's happening. And there's also aspects of that I think are good. I mean, there's the spiritual side of this, the biblical side of the things that are happening here. And it's interesting how it lines up with a lot of these social movements that are happening as well. I wasn't sure about this one. Giant two-headed Nephilim mummy discovered in Baltimore. There's a traveling carnival that's got this mummy. It's like a giant two-headed Nephilim, it looks like. But you don't know. But I like those weird sideshow type things as well. I'm interested. Anyway, that's just a few of them. There's something else I wanted to kind of share with you guys. Let me jump over to the chat real quick and say hi. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Thank you for being here. As always, I got great moderators here. I appreciate you. And somebody asked if I live in Canada. No, I don't live in Canada, but I've heard good things. A lot of my father's family is from Canada. What's up, Timothy? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Joining. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. So I'm going to jump over here for a second. There's something else I wanted to share with you, and let me go and bring that up here real quick because I've had some people asking a lot about this lately. Particular subject. Let me bring that up. Before I do too, I'll say thank you also to all my Patreon friends out there. Those of you who are chipping into the Patreon account. It's connected to my website. This week alone, I uploaded half a dozen new videos to my website. So I'm putting the work in. I appreciate everyone pitching in on Patreon. I really think that's the way things are going now with crowdfunding and everything else. YouTube's having its issues. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe it won't. Yes, sure, I'm guilty. I lived for a long time just living on ad revenue, and I wasn't making videos all the time trying to get that money. It was like I had just enough to live. I was happy, you know. But a lot of people are dealing with that right now, and that's okay. I started a part-time job a few weeks ago, and this past week it became a full-time job. And I'm actually a cleaner. It's a family business. It's basically janitorial work. And it's a very interesting job. Like it's, you know, there's different times you can do this. Sometimes at night you'll do it when like a bank closes or a building closes, you'll clean. But sometimes you're cleaning during the day. And when you're cleaning during the day, it's a very humbling experience. And I'm fine with that. You know, it's been really good. Like I said, the family's been into this for years. I've done it off and on for years. But most people that see you in these companies and these businesses when you're cleaning during the day, they don't know you. I'm not running around saying, hey, my family owns the business. You know, I'm just the cleaning guy. So you get to see how people treat you. You know, it's a really interesting measure of how people treat you because most of them see you as just the cleaning person. A lot of people are really cool and great and kind, and you know they'll chat with you and get to know you. But some people are judgmental. It's very interesting. I think it is. But anyway, so I'm working a lot now, but it's nice. You know, the Patreon's been great. A lot of us are in a rebuilding process that maybe got used to the Google ads for so long. We realize a lot of that stuff seems to be dying away. So we're trying to move on and more to crowdfunding in areas like this. So if you're interested in the work, if you support the website, the work and everything, please consider being a Patreon friend on there. And you can check out the website. It's called Who is KJ Osborne, KJOZBRNE.com. Got a lot of videos over there as well, along with the YouTube channel. And that's the plug. That's it, guys. That's it. I'm going to stop right there. Good for now. I had a lot of people write me over the years about, you know, how do you win souls over to Christ? How do you lead someone to get to know God through Jesus Christ and all this? And, you know, I've said off and on for a long time, you know, I've never seen myself as, I'm not a preacher. I don't claim to be a preacher, a pastor. I don't see this as my ministry. That's just how I am. I'm a person who happens to love God, love Christ. I try to follow Christ's ways, though I fail all the time, but I'm trying. And I believe in the gifts I have through the Holy Spirit. And I think it's just kind of seeing the things the way I do. And I've been doing that for years. It's what I do. But I'm not trying to be someone's preacher or spiritual leader or guru or anything like that. So I don't have all the answers. And I know I don't talk a lot about the word, you know, sometimes I do here and there, but I just feel weird about that as well. I've always been, even the religion I was raised in, or the denomination, was Church of Christ. I was raised in that. And it's a very humble kind of a church. They sit there, they're quiet, they sing some songs, they listen to the sermon, but they don't make any motions or say anything. And like they'll have people visiting from time to time from other denominations. And if people start putting their hands up going, ha la la, you know, like really kind of going, and dude, it is just, you can cut the tension with a knife. You know, people there don't like that, you know, amen, brother, amen, you know, and all that. They don't like that. So I was raised like that. So this is another reason I'm very shy sometimes about getting more into these subjects, but I always make sure to talk about my faith and why it really matters to me. and why it's what I do. But anyway, so here's a bit of an article I want to share with you, and this is from a website called JesusIsSavior.com. And there's a lot of websites I go to from time to time. This is one of them. David Stewart, I believe, wrote this article. But I'm warning you, a lot of Christians, so-called, Christians, right? They're very soft, and it's all like, well, as long as I got Jesus, it's cool. I'm just going to keep doing what I do and not even try to follow Christ's ways, not even really think about my relationship with God. This is true. I see it all the time. It's one of the reasons I'm no longer religious. I really try to follow the ways of Christ. I know the importance of a relationship with God. I believe it's through Jesus Christ as well to get there. Not twisting your arm. This is what I believe most. But anyway, I wanted to bring that up because this website, they're pretty hardcore, man. They get straight to their point. I'm reading it from their site. I believe this is David J. Stewart that wrote this, but I thought there's some interesting points. As I read some of this, you may even in your mind start seeing many so-called Christian truthers channels in your minds in the way that a lot of people are operating online. I don't like being a part of any cliques or clubs or groups myself. I like to see myself as an independent, fully and totally, and I do my own thing. We do our own thing here. But regardless, people that try to put you into these groups and whatnot, because it's easier to subjugate you that way. They put you into these groups and they turn the groups against each other. And this is, the snake eating its tail, I guess, in a way. So the article is called "How to Win a Soul to Christ." I'll just read some of this, and then I'll bring on some guests here in a bit. So it says, first, nothing means anything if you don't have a desire to save people. Jesus commanded his disciples in Matthew 28 to go into all the world preaching the gospel. Every Christian is commissioned by the Lord to go. Most churches never get beyond the word go. All the Bible knowledge and eloquent speaking ability in the world means nothing if a person does not go into the world and try to save these souls. This means taking the gospel and using our feet, as Romans chapter 10 says, to preach the gospel. Most believers today couldn't care less about leading people to the Lord for salvation. This is tragic. Most Christians claim to believe in eternal damnation for the lost, yet there are so few soul winners today. Why? The Bible tells us why in Mark and in Luke, chapter 4 and chapter 8 respectively. Jesus likens the word of God to seeds being planted by a sower. There are 4 results that are mentioned, and here they are. Number 1, the Christ rejectors. Some seeds fall by the wayside and the person doesn't get saved. This is seen in Luke chapter 8, where it says, those by the wayside are they that hear. Then cometh the devil and taketh away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe and be saved. So many people are going to burn in hell someday because they almost got saved. King Agrippa said in response to Paul's gospel presentation in Acts chapter 26, almost thou persuadest me to be a Christian. Almost is not good enough. Carefully notice the phrase, then cometh the devil. Mark chapter 4 uses the phrase, Satan cometh immediately. Satan is working relentlessly to keep lost sinners from being saved. Believers, some seeds fall upon the rocks and begin to sprout, but are quickly uprooted because they have no roots. This is seen in Mark chapter 4, and have no root in themselves, and so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution ariseth for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. These are believers who are saved, quote, as by fire, from 1 Corinthians. These believers are worldly. They listen to so-called Christian rock. They see nothing wrong with Harry Potter and other media like this. They're gay tolerant. They see no harm with women wearing stuff here. Women wearing pants. They are offended by the truth of God's word when it comes to separation from the world. As I said, these people are hardcore. I don't personally have an issue with women wearing pants, but I kind of see where they're coming from. Anyway, so we continue. If there were no deadbeat neo-evangelical compromising churches to go to, they'd stay home. We read in 2 Timothy, yea, and all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. This group does not live godly because they don't want to be persecuted. So they instead bring the world into the church and attempt to justify it by twisting God's word. They rarely, if ever, share the gospel with anybody. Then there's the selfish believers. Some seeds fall upon the ground and begin to sprout, but are choked by weeds and never grow to produce any fruit. This is seen in Mark chapter 4, where it says, "And these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of the riches, and the lusts of other things entering in, choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful." These are the believers who are selfish and self centered, who are so busy enjoying life that they have never the time for serving God. Well, they'll give a little pocket change, go to the church, fellowship, etc., but they have the wrong priorities in their life. These are the believers who are sitting on the premises rather than standing on the promises. Most believers today are living in pleasure, thinking about everything they have to get done and what they're going to buy with their future paychecks. Meanwhile, the world goes to hell, literally. These believers are materialistic and are mostly interested in protecting their personal interests. They rarely, if ever, share the gospel with anyone. Then there's number 4, the soul winners. Then there's the seeds that fall upon the ground and grow healthy and produce fruit. This is seen in Mark chapter 4. And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. So it says, wow, can you imagine winning 100 people to Christ? Most believers have never even tried to share the gospel, let alone winning someone to the Lord. We're told in Daniel chapter 12 that soul winners will shine for eternity. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So no wonder Jesus said in Matthew chapter 6, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust do corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. So what will this temporal life matter 100 years from now, or 10,000 years from now? All that will really matter when we die is that we died in the Lord, and that we spent our life soul winning and living for the Lord. And that's the end of that. I wanted to share that. I've had some people asking about these things, these subjects, and I think it's important to go to from time to time. I hope it helps somebody out there. Chat saying, hi, hey, Ollie, good to see you, man. Ollie Matthews is here. I haven't seen you in forever. Symbol Seeker, good to see you. How are you? I'm good, thanks. Philip. Eddie. A lot of people. Somebody calling themselves Dirtbag, I believe, is here. Hi, Dirtbag. How are you? Bag. I hope that wasn't a name. It's not a very fun name to name yourself. Hi, I'm Dirtbag. Hate me, please. 509, what's up? Sojourner for Christ is here. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get this link ready, and I'm going to go ahead and send it to my 2 guests. I have 2 guests tonight. I was hoping to get Aaron back on from Police State Radio. We're still working on that. But I got a couple other folks here, so let me jump over here to my Skype. I'm going to send them the links, and they can come in when they're ready. We'll go from there. By the way, there's one thing on my Patreon I know I need to do, because one of the things I offered is, if you chip in, say, what is it, like 10 or 20 a month or something like that, I'll also offer you to just jump on here with me. We'll have a show where it'll be like a whole bunch of us, open lines, and we'll just kind of chat, me and the Patreon people. I've tried that. I can't get a hold of people. I need to go back and check those messages, but I'm going to work on that, because I want to make sure that you guys know how to do this. There's a bit of a process to get into it. You have to have a Skype. That helps a lot. I can give you a link there. Then I can bring you guys on, and we'll do it. So that's something I'm working on. And the channel, or the website's growing and evolving as well. YouTube channel's still here, man. I'm still putting videos out. But as I said, I'm doing a lot of other things over on the website that I can't do on YouTube anymore, no matter what. I just can't. These videos will be removed, or copyright strikes, or whatever. So I'm not running ads there. I'm just putting up what I want to put up. So please check it out. Anyway, so here we go. I'm going to send the first link here to Dave. He's one of the guys that was wanting to jump on, and then let me jump over here to the other one. I'll bring them on together. I only got 2 people coming on tonight, and let me see if we can't jump in here and get that sent out. So there's the link, fellas. If you guys want to jump on here in a second, that'd be great. And I'll be sitting here waiting on you. I'll be talking to the chat. Let's see what happens over here. But yeah, man, what do you guys think, though? Again, we got this potential, nuclear strike. A lot of people are making videos on this for this week. Potential nuclear strike. I see both sides. I mean, I see where some of this can be just kind of fear mongering type stuff, and the other side is there are a lot of interesting things lining up for a possibility. So who knows? Not to worry about these things, but it is interesting to keep an eye on all of this. So I think somebody jumped in here. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I got a message from one of them. They're saying they're going to come on here in just a little bit, so that's cool. Let me check on the other one here and see. All right, still not here. All right, guys. Well, if you're listening, I just sent you the links over there in your Skype. So let's see what happens. Just click the link, come on in. Be careful of having your camera on because it seems to come on automatically. I'm just letting you know just in case you're running around naked for whatever reason. Some people like to do that. I don't know why, but they do. Maybe you're wearing a Snuggie. I am a big fan of Snuggies, but I wouldn't want to be seen on camera wearing one. So just keep that in mind. You may want to turn your camera off before you click the link or as you click the link and jump in. So let me jump over to the chat. What's on you guys' minds, man? What have you guys been thinking about here lately? Any new subjects you guys are interested in? What's going on? What's on your mind? I'm over here in the chat right now and just saying hi to everybody. What's up, Fox is Emeralds? How are you? Good to see you. Junior Silva. Hi there, Junior. What's up? Grep Link says too much fear in this chat. Have faith. Fair enough. Anthony Titan says no nukes. It's all a hoax. They're spreading fear. Says there's no such things as nukes. Hey Jadester, how you doing? Hey Tina. No such things as nukes. Do you guys believe that? Do you think there's no such things as nukes? Holocaust deniers. That's a very popular trend here lately on YouTube. I'm seeing comment sections as Holocaust deniers. Yes, one of my guests asked if I could resend the link. Give me 1 second and I'll do that. I'm working on that right now. A lot of Holocaust deniers. There's also a new thing where they're trying to say that every female celebrity is a tranny. I see these trends, and don't get me wrong, I certainly think some of them are. Some of them might not even be human at this point, celebrities. I mean, seriously, with all the technology they have. I mean, I'm open to a lot of things, but I certainly don't think that they are all trannies. I think this is another one of those new they seem to be putting out there. We get these quite a bit. Everyone's a tranny, you know. Alex Jones is Bill Hicks. JonBenet Ramsey is Katy Perry. Hillary Clinton is Ellen DeGeneres. Bill Nye the Science Guy is Joe Biden. I'm trying to get the link, but it's not. I'm having trouble right now. I don't know why, but let me go. Works. Okay, I'm sending it again. I think this is it. Let's see if that works. Give that a shot. You can jump in there, okay? And there may just be some technical issues there. I'm not sure. But check it out. Yeah, I see a lot of the same thing, and it is what it is. But I've been on here for a long time, so I see these trends. But a lot of them are the flat Earth people. They're also into that there's no nukes, and they're also Holocaust deniers. There seems to be three things that go together. I've noticed that quite a bit with a lot of these people. So I don't know. V-Town NorCal, what's up? I listen to Joe Rogan sometimes. They ask if I listen to Joe Rogan, but I think somebody may have just come in here. Let's see. 1 second. Are you there? Somebody here? I guess not. Okay, let's see. Maybe. All right, give me a second, guys. I'm working this out. Trying to get these folks in here. And I'll send this again, see if that works. Get back over here. Well, okay, this is one of my guests trying to come in. They were having trouble last week as well. You may have to update something. I'm not sure. Check it out and follow the prompts, but you may have to update something. Email the link you're asking. Okay, let me see if I can do that. Hold on a second. Well, this is going to be a thing. I've got like tons of windows open, and I'm live right now. Ooh, let me see here. If you guys don't mind waiting, let me see how this goes. Somebody asked for PJ Millis saying, "What is the cult of Keck? Kek? I don't know." Joe Rogan, I've listened to from time to time, but just I don't think he's as aware as he thinks. He's got a big audience. Tay Francis says, "I emailed you like 3 weeks ago. Sorry, I haven't gotten back to you. I'll send you a Gmail later." Okay, cool. Still going down here. Wish Studio says, "Well, North Korea has nukes. Russia has the father of all bombs. Things aren't looking good." Sounds like somebody might be in here. I think I hear some noises. Hold on a second. This may have worked out. Let's see here. I think it is. David, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine, dude. Holy cow, I got that working. You know what the amazing thing is? I got,
What's that?
I'm on my phone.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little bit of an echo in the back, but it's not bothering me much. I guess the people. Are you guys okay with that? I hear a little bit of an echo. I don't know
Hold
if you
on a
can turn the
second.
volume down or anything.
Is that a little bit better?
Yeah, I think that might have done it. Let's see. Yeah, that's much better. I don't have the echo. Hey, man, nice talking to you, man. I'm hoping I can get the other guy on as well. I had two of you wanted to bring on tonight for a bit. He seems to be having some trouble. Were you having trouble using that link as well?
Hello?
Well, there you go. Epic, is that you?
Yeah,
Epic, cool. I'm glad you were able to make it. All right, good. We were just talking
Oh
behind your
snap!
back. Well,
So
hey,
that
what I'm
that's
going to do, Epic, if you don't mind, I'm going to put you on mute just for a little bit. I'm going to start with David, if that's all right. Then I'll
yeah,
jump
yeah,
over to you. Okay?
yeah.
Good. All right. Thanks for being here. Hold on just a second. I'm going to mute you for a little bit. I'm going to jump over here with David for a bit.
I remember Epic. He was on there last time I tried to get on here. I wasn't able to make it because I had difficulties, and he was actually the one who took my place.
That's right, man. Kind of weird how that all works out. He had got in touch with me and asked if he could come on and wanted to talk about some things. And I have been trying to set this up to get more of my patrons on, but I'm having issues with getting the messages to them and checking them or them checking the messages. So I'm going to keep working on that. But either way, it's nice how it turns out. I really just kind of roll with it on the show. And you guys both got in touch. And I was like, well, why not, man? Go ahead and let's bring him on and see what's going on.
It's
But
pretty
yeah, David,
ironic how
so
that works, man. I'm telling you, God works in mysterious ways. He's something else, dude.
he, He does, and it's interesting, right? Because I really am a go with the flow person, and I know that and I feel like it's the Holy Spirit flow. You just kind of go with it. You listen to that still, quiet voice that tells you, the good things and the good ways to go. And you just kind of like flow with it, man. And life works out, no matter how crazy things are getting, right?
Man, absolutely. You're gonna have to bear with me here. I got my daughter with me tonight. Mama went out with
No
her
problem.
boyfriend there, and me and the little one are chilling here watching some of these bizarre shows that they have on TV nowadays. I'm not sure if you know, there's a show called Adventure Time. Adventure Time?
Yeah, isn't it an animated show?
Yeah, it is. They actually did an episode. It was literally like days after you put the video out talking about it. They actually had an episode called The Black Eyed Children.
Really?
Oh
Wow. See,
yeah,
that's
bro.
interesting.
And that was bizarre because they had one character, this big like rhino looking dude who worked in like a bakery or something, listening to this guy on the radio who sounded a lot like a Alex Jonesy style character, kind of running off and rambling and talking about the black eyed children are everywhere now and
Wow, that's
just
interesting, man. See, isn't that funny how the synchronicities work? I didn't even know about that, and I did that video because I caught the mainstream, like they put that story out and then suddenly they yanked it really quick, but it was talking about this rise in people having these experiences with black-eyed children. And it was happening all over. So that was a
yeah,
few years
man.
ago, and I think it's a good example of how they really do try to hide a lot of these things that I believe are happening.
Dude, they put it right out there, man. And I was sitting there and I watched it with my daughter, and it was just literally, it was like mind boggling, dude. Because it's, yeah. I
It
don't
is
even,
amazing.
you know, it,
Well,
go ahead.
yeah. It, no, I was gonna say it is amazing how much they do just put it right in front of our face. And how old's your daughter, if you don't mind me asking?
She just turned 4.
Oh, she's a kid. Okay, she's a baby, so she doesn't probably fully understand a lot of the things anyway at this point. But
She doesn't know really anything of that there. But I listen to a lot of your videos with her. She likes to play on the phones, and so instead of doing stupid stuff like cat videos and cooking videos like mom, I'll listen to a lot of your stuff and a lot of I like to listen to the Gons from Face Like the Sun. Here's another one of my favorites.
oh, for sure, man. And it's actually ironic you mentioned that because I was thinking about with all the YouTube changes, turning my channel into a channel where I basically profile cats and I do a lot of cooking. So I'm not sure. Yeah, man, that really seems to be what they're kind of pushing for. But whatever, man. I mean, like, I had to explain this to my, I have a family has a cleaning business, as I mentioned. I'm cleaning more and more now, and
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh, has everything's changed?" And it's like, well, yeah. And in a weird way too is I was living in Central America till the accident in December. I would have, at this rate, would have had to come back anyway. That's just the thing. Like, you get used to living off the beast system, guilty as charged, but I was,
oh
using
yeah,
the beast to expose it and living off of it. But it changes. But you roll with it, man. Like I said, I enjoy cleaning, but I've been doing it my entire life, and it brings me closer to the family. It also helps me to keep an eye on the family business. It's like I want to make sure the job's done well at all these places, and you do what you do. But one thing I found is the less I have now, the more I want to make my videos. You get used to just having all the time in the world and researching for a week for one video. But now it's like I feel like I have to do more. So, you roll with it. And I know God's got the best thing. He's got the best intentions for all of our situations. I believe.
yeah, oh,
You know what I mean? But so David, so
yeah.
so David reached out to me, just the folks who are listening. But David, we know each other. Just basically, you've been listening for a while on YouTube, watching some videos, and you're an awake and aware person. It sounds like as well. What's it like bringing up like a 4-year-old, a little one, in this kind of reality, kind of seeing what you see? I mean, is it
I think
changed
she
the way
muted
that
me. Can you
you?
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
She was toying with my headpiece there, and I was afraid that she may have muted me.
Oh, okay, no problem. I was just asking that I was trying to tell the people how we kind of know each other. And again, David found my email, reached out, wanted to come on. He's listened to the show for a while, watched some videos, but I know you're awake and aware. And aren't you a musician as well?
No, man. I've done a little bit of instrument work when I was younger. Did a little bit of piano, some trumpet, but I kind of fell out of that because I've always had sort of a disinterest in just about mostly everything. My attention span is very short.
Well, because I thought,
But
yeah, I thought you'd done music, but even the same thing is your name, not to say your whole name, but first name's Dave. Last name starts with a J. And when you reached out to me, that's why I was sending you those messages on Skype. I was trying to make sure you weren't Dave J, just the letter J from YouTube, because this is a very well known troll and shill in the so called truth community. And I was afraid that maybe you'd found some way in. I'm going to, because
no,
Dave
no, I
J's
didn't
the,
even know there was out there. I was just like, who is he talking about? I didn't even bother looking into it. It was
I
just
know.
like,
Well,
it's just there's a lot of
yeah,
idiots out there.
there are, and I'm so in it, I know all these channels, but I mean, he's the one that did a video a while back saying that Katy Perry is John Benet Ramsey, and then the mainstream news, CNN, all these people got a hold of it, yeah, and they're, you get hundreds of thousands, probably millions of views, and all the mainstream's talking about him, and that's where there really are channels put out here in so-called YouTube truth, YouTube Christian truth communities to make everyone look idiotic, and I definitely believe that he's one of them, but so
Yeah,
for a little bit, I was like, "Wow, am I about to have this freaking guy on the show?" I didn't know. I wouldn't want him on there. I was trying to make sure. But
yeah.
any subjects you wanted to get into yourself, and anything you kind of wanted to talk about? What's on your mind here lately with what's happening in the world and everything?
You were asking something earlier there when she was toying with my headset. Something about asking about a child in this world. I think, right? Is that what you were
That's it.
inquiring
Yeah,
about?
yeah. That's it.
Yeah, it's not easy. I come from my mom was very religious. Kind of like kind of like the mother from The Water Boy said, it's all the devil, but she's not like that mean. She was a very friendly person, talked to anybody and everybody, and just a friendly person, but just always warning about, the devil's always out there. Dad was just kind of like, whatever. I really don't care, it is what it is. But, so it was I kind of had that background growing up for me. Sort of that, I guess you could say, the commonplace indoctrination, I guess, seems to be the buzzword nowadays. And
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that movie. I actually watched that the other night on Netflix. I watched Waterboy again, and you're right. It was Kathy Bates was the mom, and she's this overly
yeah,
religious, and that's how they try to portray any kind of Christian on TV and movies anyway.
oh
But
yeah,
there are real people like that. Unfortunately, I've known them as well, and it's too bad because they are telling the truth. That is one of the greatest deceptions is that people don't even believe the devil exists. But it's there, and it's like a roaring lion seeking to destroy and take away. This is what's happening. But unfortunately, it's the way we get stuff across. It's the way you tell the world these things. Um, so they get, and the characters, they get profiled and stereotyped on everything because they want to keep people away from the truth. They want it to come across as some angry old biddy, like, yeah, the devil's gonna get you, and women
I
are the devil,
know.
I tell you.
Exactly,
Meanwhile, it's
man.
like there's a lot of truth there. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is, man. It's the truth in plain sight. It really is everywhere. And one of the biggest examples I found of that, kind of stray a little bit off topic, is my daughter likes this show called Maya the Bee, which is a CGI show about a bee who left the hive and kind of, rebelled against the hive, said, I'm going to go out and do my own thing. So you can kind of see the narrative playing out there, sort of the kind of really goes into the do what thou wilt situation. And they did
Yeah, I like aspects of that about breaking away from the hive mind and being an individual. That's a great idea, but
yeah,
it sounds like there's more on there, right? Go ahead.
there is, and of course it goes back to the bees, the black and the gold, and the color systems and the patterns and everything else that they're really kind of pumping out there. But they had sort of a made for TV movie, which for some reason they switched all the characters out with sort of British sounding actors, and I'm not sure if there was anything behind that. But the whole thing on the television, the movie one, was an individual who worked for the Queen decided that she wanted to take the Queen's place. So she concocted a plan to sort of create a false flag scenario. Imprison the Queen, tell everybody that she's dead, then blame it on the Wasps. Start a war. So I was just kind of sat there and I watched through this and I was like, wait, so my daughter knows more about the 9/11 conspiracy than I do. It's just they're pumping this out
Exactly.
to children now, and this shows how they, said,
Well, it's
just how
interesting,
get
and
them
that's
young, man.
yeah, it's such an important part of the predictive programming and the social engineering because as your child grows older, and somebody says 9/11 was an inside job and things like this, I believe a lot of times people will connect to that cartoon they saw as a child in this case and be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. You're right. 9/11 is an inside job. I watched that cartoon too. I know what you mean. Stuff like this. I mean,
Yeah, the
it, you know,
neuro-linguistic aspect of it. That's one thing I've really been kind of digging into lately is genetics and neuro-linguistics, and a lot of it, specifically biblical teaching. A lot of the sort of the words that are used has really intrigued me lately. Sort of
have you looked
what
into
words.
have you looked into NLP then, neuro linguistic programming?
I've been doing a little bit of research in that. I've been buying up books, man, just buying up books left and right. I've got a William Guy Carr's Pawn the Games, which is really weird because it was written back during the early 50s. And he's a Christian who was a high ranking general during World War One and Two. And he was way up the chains there, and some say he was actually approached by an individual to join this Illuminati conspiracy, and he declined it. And then he started going through declassified documents, and he's found a bunch of stuff. And he wrote this book, and he's wrote a lot of books. He's William Guy Carr. You know, anybody who likes to read out there, if there's anybody left, said it's one to check out. Pawns in the Game is written in the early 50s, but the bizarre thing is when you go through and you read it, it feels like it was written today. It really does, man. It's just a bizarre repetition of history.
What are some examples? I have heard of the book, but what are a couple examples you might be able to give the people of what he wrote about in the book that you see happening now?
Just talking about the family and the reconstruction. That's one of the biggest things, the reconstruction of the family. And
And it's not a
even
good
back then.
reconstruction, right? It's
No,
not a good
no.
reconstruction. It's a death of. They hate the family because at the root of all this stuff is love versus hate. Light versus dark, really. And I think that's
Oh
why they
yeah.
hate family. That's why they hate us falling in love and being in love. They want it to be a hookup culture. And of course, there's MGTOW, men going their own way, and things like this, and third wave feminism. And there's all this hatred between these sexes. And it's all just been twisted and distorted. But I think that's all a part of the plan, too.
Yeah, he does a lot of this guy. It's a lot of it's historical, talking about sort of the old historical. He goes back to like Napoleon and even back into the older generations of the king and queens, going back to sort of the connections to the Rothschilds family and all that stuff, man. But I've got a bunch of other books that I'm kind of into right now that I'm gotten to. I just bought another one today, Rule by Secrecy. I got that Tragedy and Hope by Carol Quigley. I got William Cooper's On a Pale Gray Horse that I'm gonna look into here soon. So I've got a bunch on my plate. But I've really been trying to get back into reading more. And that Carol Quigley, The Tragedy and Hope, that's about 1,000 pages, so that'll take me a while.
Yeah, but that's good. I'm glad you're researching. You have a thirst for knowledge. It sounds like.
It really has. God's really kind of kicked that into high gear, and really, he's been really pushing the numbers, and he's really shown
I,
me the numbers to it.
yeah, I feel you on that. And like even for me, I've been feeling like getting more into the word on a personal level. Like I said, I don't feel like a preacher, and I can't preach to people, but I know that for my own guidance, that's something I need to work on personally. So I have been, but and we have to listen to that, man. I mean, these are some pretty crazy times. I mean, what do you think about the times that we're in when you think about your children's future and all this? I mean, what do you see for them, or do you think that we're really near the end? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, to be perfectly honest, I believe this will be the year where they kind of they've shown that with us. They like the movies. They kick their false flags in sort of a movie style narrative. For example, the trucks running people over. That one, I saw that as sort of a first thing that popped in my mind when I saw that, the trucks running through Europe, running people over, and they killed the driver by apparently shooting through the passenger side window for some reason. I don't know how that works, but that told me that they're sending the message out. It's time to kick things into maximum overdrive. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. I mean, that was the only movie Stephen King ever directed himself from one of his own like stories. And they had, of course, the clown. Right? The clown is a representation of the devil itself, and the
Yes,
clown.
exactly. The leader was the clown truck, and of course, the whole soundtrack is probably like I think is one of like two movies ever done where the entire soundtrack is done by one group, and that of course was
ACDC.
ACDC.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that is a classic B movie, and yeah, definitely a lot of symbolism in there as well. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Stephen King's one of those people that I really do believe we're living in a time where the veil's been lifting really quickly, and there's a lot of awake type messengers, whether they realize it or not. And Stephen King is one of those people. Now, whether it's revelation of the method or whether it's the Holy Spirit, I'm not sure because I don't know much about Stephen King, but he's one that's revealed a lot of this about the massive demonic infestation that's happening now all around the world. And I believe that's happening too.
Yeah, of course, you got the it being propped out, propagandized, the clowns are coming back.
That's
You know,
right.
there's
And
the
all
message
see
to
how it all
that one
works
too,
together.
and see, check this one out too. And of course, the clowns are coming back, and what else are they talking about? Outer space. So you got the killer clowns from outer space running around again. You know, to just
That's
show
right.
how
That's
much
another.
they love their
That's
movies, man. Especially those B movies.
that's such a classic for the people. And I am a movie geek as well. Even though I'm awake and aware, I'm a film student and I'm a sci-fi horror geek. But if y'all haven't
Oh
seen
yeah,
Killer Clowns from Outer Space, you should check it out. It's just a fun, goofy, like a Saturday afternoon, laid back kind of movie. But yeah, it has its own predictive programming in there, I'm sure as well.
and of course, so the clowns are everywhere. They're slowly even making a comeback. I've known several people who said they've ran into clowns running around their houses again out here, and I live in I'll just say I live north side Indy. So we'll just go that far for you.
Yeah.
But I've even heard people out here talking about they've caught clowns on their home cameras.
It's spiritual, man. I mean, and I've put that in videos. I believe it's a manifestation of the release of these kinds of dark spirits, these dark entities, and that's why it's so important to be careful of what portals we're allowing in our lives right now with Ouija boards or with even drugs and alcohol and everything else. We have to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
protected.
Mm.
You know?
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. I'm I'm really digging back into trying to get back into reading the Bible again. I used to have an app. I just had to get a new phone not too long ago because the screen was breaking down on my phone and I couldn't get to everything. So I went out and had to get a new one. But I had a King James Bible app on it where I could just go and it had sort of the speaking option, so I could just start it up and I can just listen to the Bible on it. And I need to get
Yeah,
that
that's good.
again.
Yeah, that
You
kind of
know,
stuff helps, man. Same thing. I listen to podcasts and things like that as well.
yeah.
Well, that's interesting though. So then, like I said, you have young ones, or at least a young one,
I have a
and
young one here, and I got two waiting
a
for
young
me
one,
upstairs.
and you're at a good place where you realize what time it is. You're okay with it. You don't have a lot of worry and fear for the
Yeah,
children.
it starts out with a lot of worry, man. It really does. That's sort of the thing there, because that's one thing I've noticed is a lot of people, for me, this really wasn't a process. I'd never heard, the word Illuminati before, except for like in the movies and all that. And this really was August 14th, 2014 is the day God woke me up. And it was like a culture shock. I sort of found
Well,
some
what was it?
videos.
What? Yeah, what was the triggering event, so to speak? What really woke you up?
There was a series of videos done by a YouTuber right now. He just changed his name recently. I'm not sure if he's still on there or not, but he started out it was like him and like one or two other people. They were Avenged Ministries, and they did a lot on the Illuminati and the Freemasonic connection, and he really dug into that. And I just sort of ran into that on accident. I just kind of found that one there, and I was like, well, this looks like it would be funny. So I watched a couple of them, and it was sort of bizarre because watching
Yeah,
two of them is
turns out not so funny, right?
I know, right? And it's like, this isn't, wait, what's going on here? And so I was just kind of like, for me, it was, I was at a point in my life where I was sort of agnostic. I actually spent several years researching between evolution and the Bible. I actually spent some time trying to debunk the Bible because, I just kind of strayed away. And that's the one thing I found out about it is you really can't do it. You just can't. No matter what they say, they'll bring up the zeitgeist and all that garbage. And I think even you did a
Yep.
video on that at one point.
Yeah, it can be debunked. Zeitgeist is easily debunked, but you have to do it and people have to see it because Zeitgeist was around back when I came onto the YouTube community like this stuff back over 7 years ago. And I watched it and they would tell the truth about, 80% of it, I think, is the truth. But it's that 20% about Christ. They had to throw that in. And I felt that was the whole cover up for the whole thing. That's the message they really wanted to get across in there, I believe, is that
Yeah.
Christ is just another construct of beings that have been around.
And it's funny too, because one of my favorite things to research into is the crucifixion. Because the story behind it, everybody knows the story, but I've always been one of those people that I want to know more than just the story. I know the meaning, the message, and everything else, but I've always been one of those. I like to dig deep. I want to know the process and the constructs and everything else that ties everything together. I've always been the overthinker, black sheep in the family. That's me.
Is
I
your family
often,
religious?
um, my brother, I don't know. Most of them just kind of fallen off the grid. My oldest brother, nobody really knows where he's at. Him and his family just kind of vanished. No, no one really knows where he's at. My oldest sisters, I got two sisters. One of them I keep kind of in touch with. She's come back to God and really gone back to learning the ways of Christ. And I talk to her every now and then. My other sister, I don't know. Nobody knows much about her neither. My family just kind of split their ways. My brother, I've been going to his church lately, and it's not too bad. But when you're doing this kind of stuff, I've learned that it's really hard to find the church that you really want because not too many churches really dig into this stuff.
I agree, and it's not even just the information of the darkness in the world. It's that a lot of the churches, it's just recycled stories over and over again. So to me, you might as well just read the Bible for yourself and have your own study time and really build your personal relationship with God through Christ. That's what I believe, and I think that's what matters most. Beyond all this dogma and all these rules with religion.
Yeah, I've always been sort of disgruntled with the religion aspect on everything. I just don't like it. It really kind of throws everything into a box, and I always hear the same things. That all think outside the box, and it's like, why should I even do that? It's like, the way I look at it is, why don't you just think as if the box never existed? That's how the concept of psychology works. If you really want to understand things, you got to get rid of the box.
Well, yeah, and think about what is the box. We think inside the box. I did a video on this recently about the Investigation Discovery Channel, and it's the id trapped in the black box of Saturn, and this is the
Yeah,
devil
yeah,
wants you
yeah.
trapped inside the box. He wants you thinking inside the box, which is this kind of fabricated reality we have, this
And you
fabricated
see,
spiritual reality.
even thinking outside of the box, you're still aware of the box existence. It's not until you get rid of the box that you realize what the box truly is. You just got to completely remove that from the equation. Then you can understand what the box is. Then you can really start digging into things. And then so you look into the abyss, pretty much.
Thoughts
And
on all this stuff with nuke talk lately? Have you been following any of this stuff? There's a lot of talk with the nuke drill they're doing this week, and of course the weird
oh yeah, yeah,
transmission of
yeah.
Donald
The
Trump. All that. What do you think about that?
the
Any
the
thoughts?
Trump April 26th. I watched that. Who was it? Um, who
Sure,
did
man. There's a
that?
few people
Dabu.
have covered that one.
Dabu did the one with the transmission, and I first heard about that from Richie from Boston. So I like to watch him. He's pretty funny. It was Richie and Dabu, and I like to listen to Pockets of the Future. That dude's funny.
Actually, his name's Paul, and I want to have
Yeah,
him on sometime. And I need to go
I've
ahead and
been
reach
actually
out to him
trying. I'll
because
send him messages in the comment trying to get him on here, and he never responds. But I'm trying to get him on here for you.
I
Believe
would
it or
like
not.
that because and well, I'd have to do the whole thing with him where I have to explain to people that he doesn't follow Christ. He does believe in God, but he's got his own thing going on, and that it's. I mean, people. I mean, YouTube has really become a toilet bowl in a lot of ways. I've said this in the past. It really has, specifically in this community, because people will turn against you really quick sometimes. And I see people that are awake and aware, but they don't follow Christ. And I still think that their information is valid. And yes, I would love them
Yeah.
to know Jesus and all this, but I mean, I can't twist their
Okay.
arms.
I'll put her on the
But I
couch.
think there's a place for these people's voices to be heard. So I will try in
Yeah.
the future to have Paul on. I think it'd be interesting for people to hear from. And I think he's got good spiritual gifts. Again, we
And he
come from very
does.
different perspectives.
He's really good. He's really awake, and I don't know if you kept up with him the past few, but he's been talking more about building a relationship with God. So There's something going on there.
That's good, man. Well,
Yeah,
he's been
so
under his own
it's
attack. I
cool.
mean,
Oh yeah, man,
he's been under his
absolutely.
own attack, and he's talked about this on the channel. His family has been pulled apart, and he's had his own issues, and it is what it is. But real quick, Mr. Nobody is upset. Nobody said hi to him. Hi, Mr. Nobody. Nice to see you. I'm watching chat as we go here. But yeah, I'm
All
definitely
right,
going to
man.
try to have Paul on because I think he's awake and aware. And it's unfortunate because as time goes on here with me personally on YouTube, I find myself unsubbing more people than I am subbing. It's just more and more I'm finding people that
Yeah.
I'm just about anymore,
The
and
I know exactly what you're talking about,
and
man. It really does feel that way. I pretty much I got probably 25, 20, maybe 25, maybe 30 subscriptions that I have on my YouTube right now, but there's probably 4 or 5 of them that I listen to regularly. It would be you, Face Like the Sun, I Like Guns, Stephen Quayle. I've been listening to a lot of him lately. Um, let's see who else is there. Some other. I think
Steve
it was
Quill has
Truth Revealed,
Truth Revealed. Go ahead. Sorry, man.
and what was it? Oh goodness, there's several of them I listen to just to get kicks out of because they make good arguments about stuff. And Around Saturn's Eye's been doing pretty good lately. I've heard the stories.
Saying that.
I've heard the stories like he had a witch on or something at one point or another. Yada yada yada. I don't really care about that. I just listen to the message. I mean, he pumps out the gospel a lot, so I'm really proud of him for that.
Well, I have a weird history with him. I don't know if you knew this, but this happened back around the time I started catching up with KJ. It was probably like around episode, I don't know, 5 to 10 or something. But I had him on as a guest on Rigged Reality Radio before I ever did catching up with KJ. And then he got caught running like a second channel, and people found out who he was and that he had done videos mocking the Illuminati stuff and all that. But at the same time, he had his channel where he was, basically exposing things. So and I had a lot of people turn against me back then, saying, "Oh, you're just like him, and you did this and that." I mean, whatever. I mean, again, these attacks come. I mean, I've had them for years now on YouTube, so that was just one wave of it. So back then, I kind of departed from him. I blocked him. I stopped. I didn't promote him anymore. I think I removed those reality shows that I had him on even. Um,
Yeah.
because I was watching all the same stuff other people were. However, he's reached out to me, man, in the past and in comments and said, "Hey, I hope you're well, and I'm sorry, brother, I did this and that or whatever." And I've, I clicked a like. Wow, it's the virtual age. This is how I say understood. This is cool. I clicked the thumbs up button, like, but I
Yeah.
get where he's coming from, and I've heard a lot of my subscribers keep saying they really like his work. So to me, man, I need to check it out again because if he's really in it, and maybe he got busted, and maybe he needed to, and he changed his ways, and he's doing his thing, then God bless him, man. That's good because, they were putting out the gay stuff on him. He's gay and blah blah blah, and it's like, and I hate anything like that just because we're all
Oh
sinners.
man,
I'm
I
a sinner
know.
too. I don't do the gay stuff, but we all have our sin, and I'm a sinner too. And it's like I've repented from a lot. I've turned from a lot, but some things remain in my life, and I work on it. But that's why I try not to judge everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, they're a sinner. They did this. It's like, well, dude, I've got plenty of issues I got to work with in my life.
Yeah, that's sort of the niche that they run nowadays. Is the theory of that since I call myself a Christian, I put myself on a high horse, and that's sort of the one big thing that they really love pumping out is so the overzealous Christian, said I'm better than thou type thing, and it really does kind of hurt those who are really aware of the fact that they're imperfect. So it's not my religion; he's my savior. You know,
That's
I'm no better
exactly
than
it.
anyone
Yes.
else.
And I agree. And I look at the spirit everybody comes at everything in, and I see so many videos on YouTube now from these so-called again Christian truthers, and they're hate videos, they're attack videos, they're this, they're that. I'm not feeling the spirit of love, and it's a bummer. But again, these are just the signs of the times. This is what's going to happen. I mean, I I hate to be so cavalier about it, but I mean, I've been here for a long time and I've seen the changes and I get it. And this
Yeah.
is what's going to happen. It's a division, you know?
Mm, absolutely. That's what they love, man. And I'm sure they're putting plenty of plants out there to kind of help pump things out there. But I really honestly don't really care about that. I have the ones I listen to, and I'm good with that. I haven't even checked out your website yet. I really want to, but I've been so busy. I work overnights and I'm daycare during the day, so
Worries, man. No worries.
I
Hey,
get
man,
I
yet,
get maybe a few
well,
hours of sleep a week.
well, man, no worries, man. And check it out when you can. I've got some on there I'm really happy about, and it's growing. I mean, I put one on about Google pushing flat Earth type propaganda recently, and I've got one on Obama not being completely done or out of the picture yet. And I also put up some footage from a news channel down in South America where they actually filmed a demon possession, and during the possession, the demon jumps from one person to another one. So I'm putting up a lot of things on there that I can't get away with on YouTube anymore. So definitely check it out when you can, please.
Oh, right on. I'll have to look into that one, man. Definitely.
David, is there anything else you wanted to cover with us tonight?
You know, it's one of those things I could I could go on for I could go on all night, but I know you got people waiting, man.
Well, I
You
only
know,
have one,
and
and I only have one, and I'm gonna say real quick. I'll offer this to you because I'm gonna bring him on in a second. But you're welcome to stay in with us. I'll talk to him for a while, and if you want to join in later with the conversation with all three of us, maybe we can do that. But I
all
know you
right,
got
I'll
your
keep
child.
it
It's up
on
to
and
you.
I'll mute it here. I'm getting ready to put her to bed here, and I might grab me a beer and sit outside and just listen to it. But I remember Epic, and it was one of those things where I wanted to come on, but I just couldn't get to it. I had things going on. I couldn't get everything working on my old phone. I got it working on my new phone. Hallelujah. That's great. And I remember that conversation, and I really thought, and it's like, that worked out pretty well because that young man he really put it on there, dude. And it's like, that's awesome, man. It really shows that even the young people are figuring out that there's something strange going on in the world. And
I agree, man. It's important to have them on. So I appreciate you, and I hope you'll stick with us. Go take care of the little one. We'll put you on mute for now, but come back here in a while because I'll leave it open. Me and Epic are going to talk for a bit. Maybe you can join in once you put the little one in bed. And man, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for reaching out to me. For those of you out there
absolutely, man.
that may want to be on the show, he just found me at the scariest movie ever at gmail.com. So feel free, folks. But David, thanks, and I hope to talk to you here in a bit, okay?
Yeah, man. I'll just stay on the line here, dude. You can go ahead. I'll mute me on there. I don't really know how to do that. Like I said, I'm still learning this stuff.
I got you on
But
this end, man. Well, say goodnight. Say
I'll mute my headset really quick when I get ready to put her down, and you can mute me. And whenever you feel like you guys want me on, just let me know.
sounds good, man. Say goodnight to the little one. Nice talking to you, and I'll talk to you here in a bit.
All right, man. Absolutely great talking to you.
Okay, take care, man. All right, so that was David. I just muted David. He's going to put the little one in bed. Maybe we can get him back here in a bit. Now, Epic wanted to come on. Epic, if you're there, please go ahead and unmute yourself and pop in here. Can you hear me, man? Are you there, Epic? Because I can't hear you yet. But just check your volume and your all that good stuff, and just make sure. Because on my end, it shows that you're unmuted. So let's see if we can't hear you. And if not, maybe you can bounce out and come back. I'm not sure, but I still can't hear you. So make sure you don't have yourself on mute. Maybe check the little mic icon at the very top. And let's see if we can't get you in here. No, Epic's writing to me over here in group chat. I can't hear you, man. Hear you. Maybe let me see if I can't recapture this. Send you the link over here on Skype real quick, just in case. Okay. So I sent you the link again, and maybe you can try that one. Just bounce out and come back in. And it's early in the morning. He's from Sweden. So
Hello.
There he is. It's like 4 in the morning. How you doing, Epic?
Ah, it's good. You?
Wonderful, man. Man, hey, I just real is it really 4 o'clock in the morning where you're at?
No. I I wasn't. I'm living in the US right now. I was born in Sweden. I moved to United States when I was like 10, 12 years old, I think. So yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, I'm glad you're here because I've had you on in the past. You've reached out to me over the week wanting to come on. So I'm glad I can get you back on. And for the folks out there who are listening, you're a younger man. You're living in America now. You don't have to tell us where. We don't need your address or your social security number or anything like that. What's your credit card number, Epic? No, but how old are you, man? You're like 15 or 16, right?
I was 16, but I recently turned 17.
Fair enough, man. That's good. Well, it's nice to hear from you because I always love talking to the younger people who are awake and aware. As the years have gone on, I realize I have a nice big community of younger people who are listening. So it's nice for them to hear from you guys as well. But so welcome back to the show, man. And what's on your
Thank
mind? You seem like there's some things you wanted to chat about.
So I want to talk about some symbols, some Saturn symbols. Um, maybe you're familiar with the symbol stars, and I don't know where in the Revelation, but somewhere in Revelation it's actually talking about the stars, or angels and so on. And in fact, the famous story about about Jesus Christ. When the angel visit Mary, when the angel told her that follow the stars and so on. And I think that when the angel told Mary follow the stars, I think that angel meant follow the angel, or somewhat. I don't know. I think the the symbol stars actually represent angel. And um, can I screen share if that's okay?
Of course, go ahead.
Okay, wait. So, so do you
And I'll,
see?
and I'll say real quick about the stars too. There's different ones, but one of them is the eight-pointed star, and it's the star of Ishtar. I've covered this a lot because the eight-pointed star, if y'all listening have never seen this, you'll start noticing it now that we talk about this probably. But the eight-pointed star shows up in tons of media, movies and TV shows and commercials. The eight-pointed star is what Mother Goddess Statue of Liberty is sitting on. The eight-pointed star. This goes back to Mother Goddess worship as well. But the eight-pointed star shows up in all kinds of things. The star of Ishtar might not be the same one you're talking about, but there's even the stars on Hollywood Boulevard. Every
Yeah,
celebrity gets a quote star after a while, right? The falling star. But go ahead.
yeah. So can you see what I'm showing right now?
Let me take a look here. Let's see here. Yes, let me click on
Okay.
it. So you're up on this. There we go. I got you. Go ahead, man.
So we have a pentagon, right? And you can see that it's a star, right? So a star can be a planet, right? And the word planet in Greek means wandering. So in the original word for planet is actually planetary. So and it means wandering. So I don't know. Maybe they mean that the angel is wandering or something. But no, either way, it's a star, right? And the middle of this star is a hexagram, right? And around this star is a circle. And which star or a planet have a circle around it and a hexagram. And is this familiar?
Go ahead.
Is this familiar with? I mean, this is a star, and middle of the star is a hexagram, and
This is a good
around,
point.
is a circle, and here is a circle, and here's the star, and middle of the planet or star is a hexagram.
Yes, that's on Saturn. You're right, and that's real, and that's a good example right there. Exactly, and you can see it right there with your visual. You have the planet, you have the circle, in the middle you have the hexagon. This is also a good example of how symbols mean different things at different times. Especially pagans will say that the star upside right like that is the star of man, and upside down is the pentagram. Meanwhile, you just took it to a whole new level where you're showing that the hexagon's there with the planet, where it all represents Saturn, Satan, right?
Yeah. And just another example, the pyramid. Um, using this pyramid a lot, right? But if you actually, open up the pyramid or whatever that word is, you will actually get a four-pointed star, right? So if you actually, what I said, open this up, you would actually get a four-pointed star. So this is actually, you know, it's each 2,500 years, this will actually appear. These three stars will be above these pyramids. So if this pyramid represents stars, and each 2,737 years, this star will be above this pyramid, and this eye is about this pyramid. I mean,
That's interesting because recently I just did my last video. I actually covered a bit of something on this, and they found the statue of Apollyon, or another representation of the Antichrist, at the ocean around Giza. So they showed that just a few years ago, which again to me is a representation, a physical manifestation of the beast rising from the seas. So I didn't know about this planetary alignment. That's very interesting. When's the last time that happened? Was that recently or is that coming?
I really don't know. Actually, I researched recently, but yeah, but well, I don't know which episode when Casey was on your show, but I remember when he said that he found a hexagram inside the eye. When I heard it, I kind of connected dots that maybe the eye represented Saturn because wait, sorry. as
That's
you
okay.
as you saw here, it's a planet, and it's Saturn. I mean, I kind of believe that I is Saturn. Your thoughts?
Well, it's interesting too because if you go really close in on the eye of Providence there on the dollar, the American dollar, it's also a spiral as well as in there. I don't know if you ever saw that before.
No, actually not.
And to me, it just goes back to the mind control of the beast system. How the all-seeing eye really controls all until you can see it. And these are the kind of secrets they tell each other in the Masonic lodges. In the secret societies, they show them the symbolism and show the power it has. But at the same, and that's the revelation of the method in many respects, because now in our world, there's people like myself who aren't a part of the lodge, who aren't Freemasons or Illuminati, who get this information through the Holy Spirit, much like yourself, and we're exposing it as well. So this is kind of the battle we're in.
So yeah, I also want to talk about the angel of the Saturn, and according to Wikipedia, um, this angel is actually the leader of Saturn, and casual, whatever his name is, it means spirit of God, and that can represent flash, which is actually lightning, which can also represent Lucifer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The bolt turns up in so much of our pop culture. It's not even funny, but again, it's that example of the devil falling like lightning.
I- yeah. Apparently, sorry, according to this person, casual is described as a rule of seven heaven in in Enoch, and actually I think Lucifer was actually the leader of Archangel, if I'm correct.
I'm not sure.
Okay, but yeah, and I also want to talk about the alien deception, because I heard you talk about the alien deception and so on. I don't know if this represent really the alien visit the planet Earth and so on, but in the Revelation 12 it says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, and traveling in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having seen heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, to devour her child as soon as it was born." And I'm interested in this passage. I mean, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And this and this passage is talking about the red dragon, which represents Satan, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and cast them to earth. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I kind of I don't know. I think this mean he's casting, he's throwing. I mean, his minions visiting the earth. What's your thoughts about it?
No, it's interesting, man. It makes me think about, oh gosh, 3 or 4 years ago, there were several videos captured of a sighting of what people thought was Mother Mary in Africa. Did you ever see that footage?
No.
So that's the first thing that came to mind as you're reading all of that was that footage. It was really interesting paranormal footage captured in Africa, maybe South Africa. Multiple
Hmm.
angles, people captured on their phone, and it looked like Mother Mary showing up with light all around her and all this, like out there. And, could that be a spiritual manifestation or could that be Project Bluebeam? You wonder how much the government's keeping up with Revelation and how much they're going to try to utilize that in the great end time delusion. Will the delusion be Project Bluebeam UFOs, or will it be actual fallen angel orbs coming down and intervening for World War III? I'm not sure, but I watch all of that. But that's what that makes me think of. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, actually, I don't know. I think this is very interesting, but I kinda um, I read this earlier today, so I mean, it just stumbled to me. Yeah.
No, that's good, man. I mean, that's one thing about you too. We've talked off and on. I've had you on the show before, but I really like that you're awake and aware and you're watching. And I'm curious, even in your own life, is it a struggle for you, kind of off the subject of these symbols and the things that are happening, to truly follow the ways of Christ? How do you do with that? Like, do you feel like you're really trying or not? And I'm not judging you because trust me, I fall all the time. I'm just asking.
I'm trying. I mean, it's very hard. I mean, especially these days we are living right now. But I'm trying, especially when I'm alone home. I'm trying to read the Bible and so on. But when you are with friends at school, you are easily you're easily, sinning and so on, and especially when your friends talking about girls. I mean, you getting, when and my friends talking about, girls, I automatically talks about that too. So yeah, I'm trying, but it's kind of hard, especially when your friends isn't aren't that, Christ. They aren't, Christi. They are not involved, in Christianity and so on. My family aren't that Christians, but my mom isn't that Christian, but she always say, I'm Christian and so on. But she doesn't really follow, Christ really, and so I don't know. Really, yeah, it's kind of hard. Uh, yeah,
I know, and it's not just for the younger folks as well. I mean, it's tough to really try to follow the ways of Christ, just as it is. I mean, it's not easy, man. I mean, that's it's easy to fall back into the matrix here, especially when all of our friends are still lost, and that's a big part of it as well. Is as we grow older, even for myself, I've departed from a lot of quote friends I've had throughout the years because there's just we can't see eye to eye anymore, and I got tired of wearing that mask of find a way to understand them and get along with them and ever feeling like they even care about the truth.
yeah, yeah. But at the same time, I want to, show them the truth and so on. But you need to start to, show them a little bit of the Bible, or so on. But it's very hard to actually get them involved in Christianity itself. It's very hard to show them the real truth, and yeah, that's why I want to be friends with them, because I think I can have the because I think I can actually save them, but I really don't know actually. So yeah,
No, man, I believe me, I understand. I mean, it's the times we're in, man, and I think there's going to be a lot of division, a lot of people having to depart from one another. And we've seen this in the Bible. It tells us this. This is prophecy. There'll be people turning against one another, families and friends and loved ones, and all kinds of things. So we'll see. I'm watching. I have been for a long time, and we'll see how crazy it gets. I hope it all turns out good. I have
yeah,
hope for the best, but who knows? But at the end of the day, I mean, what matters most to me and maybe to you, but again, it's just where are we at with all this? And are we truly serving our creator or are we serving ourselves?
that's true. This will actually sound very maybe crazy, but when all these things happens, the new world order and so on, in flesh, I'm very sad and so on, but in my spirit I'm kind of happy, because when all these thing happening, then the days are closer, to Christ coming back. So yeah, and I think people, or many who follow the Christ, should be happy when when this stuff occurs. That's my philosophy, because I, I really don't want to be afraid. And when you are full of Christ, you have overcome the fear. So yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to cover tonight? Any other subjects you were wanting to throw out
Um,
there for us?
not really. Um, yeah.
Well, fair enough, man. I'm glad you're able to come on with us for a bit tonight, too, man. It's always nice talking to you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Cool, Epic. Well, I guess I'm going to jump over to the chat, see what they're up to for a bit. I'll say thank you again to you and to David. I'm going to say
Uh,
hi to the chat, see what's going on with those guys. But man, let's stay in touch. I'm always, I really respect you, man. I love that you're a younger man, you're awake and aware, and you're really trying to find the truth with the truth in Christ. And I think it's amazing, and you're a testament for us all, man. So thank you very much.
thanks allowing me to join your show.
You're welcome, man. It was nice talking to you as always, and also to David as well. I think he's still on mute. But you guys take care, and I'm going to go jump over
You
here to the
too.
chat for a bit. But I'll talk to you later, okay?
You too. Bye. God.
Okay, bye bye. Sorry, I just cut him off. He's going to say God bless. But thanks, Epic. Always nice talking to you, man, for real. I love you. And David, thank you. Let me say hi to everybody real quick. I hope you guys are doing well. Thanks again for being here. Hope you're having fun. Hope you learned a thing or two. Hope it's been somewhat enjoyable. I guess this is a shorter night. Let's see, it's almost an hour and a half, and I've done much longer in the past, but I had my guests on. I'm going to work on the Patreon thing. Again, I want to make sure I can start getting shows here where I have multiple of the patrons on, and we can just kind of like chat about whatever you guys want to. I'll have a big open discussion, no one muted. That's kind of one of my visions for what's to come here. So we'll check that out. Hi, Mindy. Thanks again for being so great as a mod. What's up, Alter? And thanks, Belinda. Thanks, Jules Believer. Good seeing you. Kang, always nice to see you. Sojourner, always good to see you. On Good Sky, what's up? Thank you, guys. Again, thanks for being here, guys. There's a CF says KJ. What about gang stalking and mind control? Mind control. Somebody, I may have found one of the trolls. It's Thaz Thaz. Okay, Thaz, I got to say goodbye to you. You're probably Bartley Gerba under one of his mini sock accounts again, but Bartley is being taken care of. This is real world stuff I'm doing outside of YouTube. Can't even talk much more about it, but I had it with some of these fools on YouTube. I'll just say that. And we're going to get serious about this stuff. And I am. You can believe that. What's up, Ron? How are you? Good to see you. Twitwit, always a pleasure. You're amazing. Melissa, hi. Good to see you. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. Yvonne Alexander, good to see you. It's a pleasure, my friend. Guys, thanks again for being here, man. As I said, I have been putting up a lot of videos on the website. I'll leave a link below. Check out who is KJ Osborne, OZBORNE.com. And I'm not going to stop, I mean, again, I got used to living off of YouTube ad revenue for a long time, and I was able to live decent. I wasn't like a king, but I was doing okay. But it's changed for all of us. So I'm working more or less full time now, working into full time. Also trying to maintain the website. So the Patreon, people who chip in on there, it's fantastic. I appreciate you. It's helping. I'll continue putting more stuff out. The goal for all of us, of course, is to not work and just focus on this. But it is what it is. I'm not here to cry about that or whatever. I just go with the flow on things. And as I said, in a way, going back into the workforce, and this is more physical work, has been really good. And it's kind of nice. It makes me respect the little time I have even more and make sure I want to get a lot of stuff out. So thank you. Thanks again. Check out the site if you like for some more videos. Excuse me. I appreciate your time tonight. I guess it's a shorter show compared to what I normally do, but it's Saturday night. I actually have some plans myself for a little bit later on tonight. Mika, good to see you. So that's what I'm going to do. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I really appreciate you guys, man. Seriously, much love to you. We've built something amazing here. This isn't just the KJ show. This is a show for all of us. It really is a community, and I feel that, man. And we're just going to keep growing and getting bigger and reaching more people as we go. And it's not out of a narcissistic need because I need more people to listen to me. It's not like that. Ultimately, we want to reach people for the kingdom. We want to reveal the real truth, the truth of Christ, the truth that God is real, the truth that the devil is real, and the truth that we're living in that season. When it's going to happen, I don't know. But we're in that season. And ultimately, that's the end all be all of the truth. That's what really matters. The truth in Christ, truth in God, your own relationship with God. And just to be ready, to be prepared, right? So I won't keep rambling on. I love you guys again. I'll tell you that. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you spending some time with us tonight on Saturday night. Y'all take care of yourselves. I got more videos coming for YouTube this week as well as my website. Please check it out. And man, stay aware and awake, but also enjoy your life. Let's live day by day. Let's live in peace. Let's not live in fear.